Hello, this is Arnell Tanyag with Tanyag Company. We're a business advising consulting firm. I'm doing my talk on my video on what I do on my first Friday, which is a talk I do for realtors, independent contractors, mortgage people, people who do business in the residential real estate industry. And it could be, I have P&C agents, contractors, cleaning companies, landscaping companies. What we're going to be talking about today is understanding and really knowing how to work your sphere of influence for new business. And I can talk about this from my experience. I've been in the business community for 20 plus years. I did B&I I started B&I 20 years ago when they had no B&I. We had to build it basically on word of mouth. And I learned the do's and don'ts of sphere of influence and really what it means. And I've been working on my process because I do business advising, business consulting, and a little bit of elements of coaching. So my business is purely off word of mouth, referrals, sphere of influence. I get introductions, referrals on a consistent basis. Do a little bit of advertising, not a lot. If I do any type of advertising, supporting my existing relationships. So what we do, when people ask me what we do, is we believe build a lifestyle, not just a business. Think about how your business will be in the next 2 or 3 years and what it entails it to be. So for example, if you want to work less than 25 or 30 hours a week, 3 or 4 days a week, and make $250,000 gross, how do we build your business around that? Or can we build your business around it? How do we move toward that? Because owning a business is very hard. It's very lonely, and it can be very exhausting. So the unique thing about building a business is you want to make sure, unless you're a business that dominates the market, you don't really care about lifestyle. Most of the people I work with, they build a business so they do care about lifestyle. The only challenging is getting to that point. So we're going to talk about a subject that I love to talk about is working your sphere of new business. And it's interesting. I have a bunch of notes right here. So here you see my notes, and here I got to go over my notes. So what does the sphere of influence basically means? And here's what most people don't understand about the sphere, and I didn't realize it until like 6 months ago. A sphere is where you can have power to affect developments although not having any formal authority. So you have power to affect. So what that basically means, you're really working with a volunteer army or volunteer people. I used to be an elder at church, and I didn't get paid at all. And I didn't want to get paid because I told them, I don't want to get paid for this. Because if I get paid, it changes the rules and guidelines, and then it makes it harder to influence people. So I didn't get paid at all. People knew I didn't get paid. So it was easier to influence because, in any organization, you can have employees work for you, you can tell them what to do, but are you really influencing them based on, what we're going to talk about today is, are you influencing or telling them what to do? So when you're building a sphere of influence is what can you do to influence them, and in turn they influence other people. The biggest challenge in the sphere is and I see a lot of people doing sphere of influence, they're just informing people, they're informing them, that they're realtor choice, mortgage choice, versus they're influencing them. Can I be the mortgage person or realtor of choice, or can you influence other people to do that? And it was interesting. I'm in this coaching program with Mike Mayer, and I'm not even a realtor. I just love the stuff, and he's got the best program on the face of the earth and how to generate referrals. When his epiphany of his career, he generates 600 referrals a year. So I'm in this program right now because I've done referrals, introductions off and on, but I didn't really have a process. I had it fragmented, and he's been helping me do that. And it's working out really well for where I've been. My referrals have doubled. I get people talking really good word of mouth, but I'm getting people to introduce and refer me, very focused. And what he says, and I believe too, is don't have 300 or 500 or 600 or 1,000 or a couple thousand people in your database. What you really want to do is you want to have a quality database versus quantity. And he basically says that you need to understand the Dunbar number. The Dunbar number is a maximum number of relationships that any one person can maintain, and it's 150. So I tell people, as you're building a circle of 150, then you can have outside that circle is another circle. It could be 1,000 people. Like I literally have developed in my CRM program, I have a pipeline called generosity, a generosity network. These are people who have actually given me introductions, and then there's another column in there, people who have actually given me introductions that led to clients. And then I have other people that have a pre-qualified generosity, and then I have everybody else. Because my goal and objective in building my sphere is identifying that top 20% who give me the most referrals, introductions that lead to clients. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to share the 7 tips that you need to when you work in your sphere. The first thing, you need to identify the 3 categories in your sphere of influence. Number 1, who actually gives you referrals that close. In my sphere of influence, in my CRM, I have a column, basically a list of people who give me referrals that led to clients. And it's interesting. I looked at the list yesterday, and I really looked at it and really found out that out of that list of 7 or 8 people, there are really 2 or 3 people who are raving fans who get me clients or have pushed beyond their own comfort zone and got me clients. And I have other people who got me clients, but I think it's because they got me clients because I created a process. I mean, I do events once a month. I do a speaking event. It's value to everyone who attends. They make good context, but it's an easy way for people to introduce me, and I pick up clients that way too. But the challenging thing, those people really just invited them to the event, never really invited them to meet me. The event just led them to meet me. But then I have some people who have actually had conversations with people and tell them, you need to use Arnell. And so the difference when I'm looking for people who have influenced people are people who are influencing people who do it because I don't ask them to, and they just do it all the time because they get so much value out of it. They know I can help people. Or number 2, when I do ask for help, they talk highly about me. They're a living example. Like I have a very successful realtor at one local brokerage firm. He's like number 1 in the office. And I mean, he's done really well. He's been a client with mine for about 2 years, and and it was funny. I was talking. He's doing so well in business, and he what he's done for me. He's my advocate when people ask, and he's a raving fan when people ask. He's not always comfortable making the introduction, this and that. And I told him, don't really worry about that because he got me into be a vendor at one of his expos at his office. And then, I've been, meeting with people. I sent them all thank you cards. I invite them to my workshops, and one day I went to the office, and the principal broker came to me and she said, man, people talk about you a lot. I was like, well, I got to go to word of mouth. You can't sell realtors, but you can build better relationships and get them to buy in. So I have really good word of mouth, but I need to convert that word of mouth into actual business. So and again, number 1, the 3 categories is look at your database and have a list of people who give you referrals that close. Those are your top 20%. Then look at the second tier is people who have given you referrals, haven't closed, and find out what the disconnect. And a lot of time the disconnect is because they're not doing a good job introducing you who, how, and what, or you're not doing a good job of following up. I realized over the last 30 days that I need to do a better job of following up when people come to my events. I need to call them immediately if I believe if they're really open, they want to grow and coach and they have some type of capital, I need to go and follow up. Sometimes I don't follow up as quickly, and I kind of realized that, and I made some changes in my process to make it further. And then the third category is people who give you referrals, who can give you referrals who are influential or most respected. So again, it's people who give you referrals that close, people who give you referrals who have not closed, and people who give you referrals who could give you referrals in your database who are most influential or most respected. Category 1, you already know they're giving you referrals that close. They're giving you clients. It's great. Category 2, they're giving you referrals but haven't closed. So there's disconnect somewhere. Probably you're not closing it, or they're just not giving you good quality introductions or referrals. Or 3, people in your database who you know are influential and respected. Those are people who literally have the most successful people who have influence and respect of their peers. They can send you a referral and know it's a done deal because they work with people who are influential, have money, and they're respected. And so when they say, hey, I want to sit down with a business owner, boop, all right, it's the done deal because I call their influential quotient to introduce is high. And the people that are introducing you have the money or have the resources. So it's always good to know who those people are in your database. And then when you get all those 3 people, here's a couple things you have to really make sure they all fit the category. Number 1, do they have goals and objectives written down? Are they hungry to grow? Because if they're not hungry to grow, they're not going to grow your network. But they'll sure Dan take your referrals. So they have to be hungry to grow. Number 2, do they value your service? Like I find out a lot of people in business want to do it yourself. That's fine and dandy. They will not pay for a service like me, but I didn't know that, so I'm helping. And they don't value my service. They say, hey, Arnell's a really nice guy. but they never value coaching or advising, so they're never going to be really good about really explaining what I do to help people. They just say I'm a nice guy. Is that better than nothing? Yeah, but it doesn't help your business grow. The third one is, are you the vendor of choice? Are you the person they look toward as the expert? And how I tell people to find out is ask this one simple question. If a friend, neighbor, or business colleague asks you, who do you go for business? Who do you go for expertise in business and growing your business, development, hiring? I tell them, I said, let me be that guy. I want to be that guy you go to first. And the reason I want to be that guy is because at the end of the day, if I'm not that guy, then how are you truly going to refer and introduce me? Because you don't see me as that guy. And then the last one is, do they want to be part of your network? Do they want to be part of your sphere of influence? Do they want to be in that inner circle? I call it, they want to be in your generosity network. They have to want to participate. They have to be hungry to grow their own business. They have to value your service. And then they have to be able to give you the preferred vendor of choice. Because if they don't meet all four of those criteria in those three categories that I mentioned, then you're wasting your time. And how I know? I've been working on this whole process for a year. And it's amazing that I thought people really want to help me, but they don't want to value my service. They don't have the money because they want to do it themselves. Or they're not really hungry to grow. Or they want my referrals, but they don't want to be part of my sphere of influence. So the thing I've realized is you're qualifying people. My philosophy is you win, qualify, and influence. And win basically means you win the relationship, you treat them really well. Even if they don't become part of your network, even if they don't become a client, they walk out and go, this was a great meeting. Qualify, are they qualified for your business? And again, goals, value service, preferred vendor, and they want a network. And then influence, meaning that you can always go back to them and get them help any given time. Tip number 2, when you're asking referrals, remember there are 3 categories of referrals. And you have to remember is number 1 is referral, number 2 is introduction, number 3 is favorable introduction. Referral is somebody who needs your business, who needs your service product right now. They need your service product right now. B is introduce the person, mention my name. There's no reason to connect, but you introduce, and that's you still get to meet them, maybe business. But favorable introduction, the unique thing about that, you've actually gone out of your way to make an introduction. Let me give you an example. I had a cleaning company. He's been pretty established. They've been in the business for a year, and they wanted to meet property management groups, and I know this guy has a legitimate business. So I called up one of the board members of NARPM, National Property Manager, and say, hey, Chuck, this is Arnell. How you doing, man? He's good. Hey, I got a potential member for your organization. He's a cleaning company. Do you have anybody? No. His name is Lee. Could you give him a call, or he can receive a call from you, and could you take him out there to one of the meetings, introduce him to a couple of people, and if you need a cleaning service and you meet this guy you think is a good fit, would you give him a shot, or at least put him in front of people, and I think he may consider to join your organization. He goes, yeah, not a problem, I'll give him a shot, let him try. So sent an email, Lee told him to do that, and then lo and behold, they're going to meet up. And I did it for another guy. I did it for a moving company recently because I was building a relationship, and he was really serious about growing his business. And he said, Arnie, I met the guy, met Chuck, went to an event, liked it, picked up a $6,000 move in, move out, something. And it was great, man. I'm going to the meetings and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, and the difference is Chuck, who's an RP, he didn't call me up telling him he was looking for members. I mean, I only talked to Chuck a couple times a year, but he didn't know. And he's my point of contact for NARPM. He didn't know at all. I just made it favorable. And why I made it favorable? Because I pitched Chuck, here's this gentleman who's a cleaning company. Here's this moving company. They're interested in joining an association. Can you meet him? Can you introduce them? Can you walk them around? I think they can join. If you have a need for the service, give them a shot. I did everything I could, but what I did versus a referral, I planted the seed. I facilitated one party to the other and moved them together and talked about the conversation, created an opportunity and make it work. And the amazing thing on why I did that, and here's the amazing thing why I did that, because at the end of the day, what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I was able to not connect like an introduction, but I wanted to make it favorable. So when the person moves in there, increases the chances of them to build those relationships and maybe do business. So that's what you have to really think about when you're thinking about referrals is referrals, introduction, and favorable introduction. And sometimes favorable introductions, if I'm talking to a person right now, I'll make the call and let them set appointments for each other. And I find out when they do that, if the person who follows up and develops a relationship, they do well. Now, somebody goes to me, hey, Arnie, I'm a realtor, but I'm talking to somebody who doesn't own a business. So here's what you say to them. I say, what is your biggest challenge in your business or life right now that can help you now? You know, and some people, what do you mean? I say, you're having car problems. Are you having problems with the landscaper? Let me see if I can get you somebody. Or what's the biggest challenge in your business in your life right now? That life that will affect you 30 to 90 days out from or 6 months from now. Let me be a resource for you. Let me help you that. So if I was a realtor, I would be a resource for them because you're giving that person a referral to help their lives become better. But if you're doing B2B, a lot of times what happens when I do meeting with B2B, I can't guarantee I give referrals because first of all, I got to know the person, I got to know their business, what their target market and all that. But I can put them in positions to meet the right people. I can put them in target markets. And I always tell my clients, would you rather have a client or a referral source? I want a referral source. They're like, I want a client. So, well, clients don't always give you referrals. Once people become clients, it's very rare that they give you ongoing referrals. Me, personally, I want referral sources. I want sources who will send me anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 10 referrals a year to 2 or 3 or 24 or 30 or even 10 or 15 clients. I'm looking for referral sources. So when you're asking for referrals, referral, introduction, favorable introduction. Number 3, when you're asking, you got to know the who, the how, and what you're asking. So when I sit down with realtor, I say, think about when people buy or sell a house. What triggers them to buy? Well, people have to buy because they have to move up. People have to buy because they're renting. People have to buy because the neighborhood's gotten really bad. People have to buy because they want to buy a second home, or they're sending the kid to a place, so they want to buy a townhouse or they rent it out, this and that. So you have to write down every service or product has triggers that lead people to use your service. So what I tell people to do, is write out the who, then how. How do you want to be introduced? I have 7 levels of introductions. Number one is, can you help me close a deal? Or can you set up a conference call? Can you invite them to an event? Can you set up an appointment with me and I meet them? See, that's the how. But then you also, when you're making how, you got to promote. You have to promote them. You have to really get an idea of promoting them. Say, hey, he's a great guy. He's got great service. He can help you. And then what? What do you want me to say to that person? See, when I tell people to teach your sphere of influence referrals, know who they want to meet, how they want to be introduced, face to face, lunch, coffee, conference call, email, then call. And then what you say is, hey, I want to introduce this person because they can help you. They're really great at what they do. If you have a good service, man, if you need a service, give them a shot. You'll love them. And here's the difference is you want to, and when you do favorable introductions, all of it is about promoting the person, promoting the service. And the goal and objective is when you're asking referrals, and I call it referral conversation, you sit down and figure out how I can help them. Your job is to coach, train, and consult people to help you. And I always will say it's on the who, how, and what. If you're not getting good referrals, it's because they're not giving the right who, or not saying the right what, or they're not positioning you in the right how. Like I was telling a story at the workshop that I had one of my biggest connectors introduced me to people all the time, and she referred me to somebody. In her mind, she thought I could save every other business. So she introduced me to a lady who works part-time in her business, doesn't have a job. She thinks she works part-time. For the first hour, I think we met an hour and a half. It was the worst one-to-one in years I've ever had. She really didn't have a business model, didn't want to, had a victim mentality. It was really terrible. And I had to call my referral source and say, look, please don't refer those people to me because I can't help them. They don't have a business. They're not serious. Nothing wrong, really nice lady, but I can't help them. It made me feel bad. And my referral source was very open to the idea, so I had to sit down and train her on how to do it. I mean, the person wanted the how and what, was the who wasn't there. And probably I need to do a better job explaining what I'm looking for, and that was my fault. Number 4 is bring value to the relationship after the transaction by showing appreciation, gratitude, and generosity. When somebody does business with you, when I do business with people, if you're in a real estate, you only do business like 5-7 years and that's it. So you have to be able to you have to bring value to the relationship afterwards. You have to, I meet with people in a month, once a quarter, so I always have to bring value to the relationship because I want to let people know that I do care. I'm either showing appreciation, gratitude, and generosity. I'm almost gratitude based on grace is willing to give up my time. Um, Gratitude basically is I'm grateful for something or someone. So and I tell people I tell people all the time I am thankful that you're a client of mine and business is going well. Appreciation. I mean, shoot, when somebody gives me a referral, I send them a power note or thank you card. If they give me good introductions, I do an event. I invite them there as a thank you. Uh, if they give me a referral that closes, I get them a gift. And generosity is I'm being kind and generous. But here's the amazing thing. You know, when I tell people, and it's in my notes, is when you want to be generous, you really need to understand what they call the 6 profiles of giving. Like I didn't know I was doing this. I didn't realize I was doing it. I always share knowledge. I always teach skills, and people let me when they want me to. I give them advice and guidance. And people say I'm a great connector. I just do it naturally. Do I extra mile? Yeah, I show up once in a while, help hands-on emotional support. But I do these extra giving all the time. So what happens? People know I'm a great giver, but I'm also learning how to be a great asker once I give, or when I know to give, when I don't expect anything in return. So when you bring value, one of the ways to do is to be generous by being a giver. You're never going to get consistent referrals if you're not bringing value and giving back to your sphere. And it doesn't always have to be introductions. It could be sharing knowledge. It could be teaching skills. It can just there's a book called Giftology, How to Give Them Gifts. Like I had a client who had a date night. They were doing a date weekend, and she's supposed to have a baby. She just had a baby recently in October, and it was the weekend. I said, hey, where are you going? We're going to Williamsburg. I said, well, you know what? And I know they're gluten-free, so I gave them a $50 gift card as a thank you for being a client. Say, here's $50. Go and enjoy. Your weekend together. It's just husband and wife, and they were very appreciative. I just appreciated their client. I wanted to give something to them that they can do. And they said, Arnell, how'd you find this restaurant? I did my research. I didn't go in the restaurant. I did my research. I looked around it. I saw the reviews, and it had a gluten-free menu, and it was tailored. And they're like, oh, God, it's great. We had a great time. They sent a picture to me on Facebook. One of the things I'm going to do every year is I have a bunch of realtors I know that I work with, and they're excellent clients. They have great families. I know this year I bought 3 clients with their 3 families. I bought them tickets to Realtor Day. 3 families, probably about, I think I spent almost, maybe $100 or something, but I bought them all tickets, and that was great. It's giving. I was giving. So because here's the thing in my business, it takes a while for results to turn around, so you have to keep the relationship going. I believe so much in them. They don't always believe in what they're doing, but once they get traction and get momentum and build confidence, things get moving. So a lot of times I'm giving more to keep them stayed into the game for the business to turn around. But I also realize too is my goal and objective is to give one thing to one of my clients, something unique, that precious time or something that they reward, that show appreciation. And because it's I want them to realize I do value the relationship. And it's not because I have to make a living, my business have to make a living. I do value it. So you really have to know how to value. And I think a lot of people they don't know how to value a relationship. Once they do the transaction, they're spending too much time marketing versus going deep in relationships. Number 4, you need to have a CRM to track your progress and results of your sphere of influence. I use Contactually, and I've been using it for about 3 years. And the reason I use Contactually is because I can develop different pipelines, different niches, and it's built on relationships. Because I'm not a realtor, so I just use that to work my sphere. I can actually customize certain programs. I can actually customize certain, they call groups. And then I can literally, and the thing amazing I like about it, it tells me who opens the email, what replies. It also, I can create email templates. I've been using it for 3 years, and I'm a winger, on the Myers-Briggs. I like winging things, but I am religiously putting input in that data, putting information in it, looking at who buys and sells, and it's really been helping me out tremendously. I'm not perfect at it, but my email list I go out to like 450. I send an email twice a month, because my contactions can only send out 300 emails at a time. So it sends out twice a month, and then I have a sphere of influence that I'm working up to 150. So I got 500 up to 450, 500, but then I'm building that 150. And now that 150, I probably have about 35, 40 that I'm working on. I really want to get it to a point where I get good, solid people who give me introductions. Number 5 tip is set goals and objectives in giving and receiving referrals. the only way you're going to measure if your sphere of influence is doing well if you're getting referrals. But here's the thing: you got to give referrals. So, like, Mike Mayer says you have to post it out there that you're giving referrals. I say I'm going to give out 250, and I'm going to receive up and more of 150. You have to really believe in giving. If you believe in giving, you have to set goals. And I like this, and I started tracking it, and I have to put in there, and I just got to remember. But the amazing thing about this whole process that's amazing is, if you're like the Bible verse, if you sow, you reap. If you're giving, you're receiving. But you got to set goals, because you have to be looking for opportunities for other people while asking for opportunities from other people. And you have to measure and track. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I write down people I give introductions and referrals to, and then I write down who they introduced me, and I call them and thank them. And it's amazing. I mean, I just realized over the last 3 months that I'm getting a good number of referrals every month. I'm probably averaging over 10 to 20 a month. No, probably if I'm looking at my numbers, but if I was missing something, I'm probably averaging about 18 to 20 a month. Some months maybe about 18 to 20, because I had my this month was really good. I mean, last month was really good because I had a workshop, and I had like 6-7 guests there. Like this month, I already had my I had my first Friday, and I had like 6 guests. And then so I'm probably, depending on my workshops and what I do, it could be anywhere from 15 to 20 referrals. If I'm just doing one workshop and a couple of referrals, about 10 or 12. But the hard thing about my business is that I'm looking for equality. I'm looking for somebody who wants to build a business, which is really, really hard to find. I think it's easier to find people who want to buy or sell a house than find people who really want to build a business. So it's really hard, and I'm not looking for any specific niches. I do real estate, and that industry, because most people in there want to build a business, and they want to build around their lifestyle. So I'm really looking for equality. I mean, I realize that I may sit down with 10 people, only maybe 2 of them really want to build a business. A lot of them just want to replace their income, which is fine and dandy, but I have very few that want to build a business. On number 6, you got to create an ongoing plan and giving and receiving referrals and how to deepen it. So what I recommend people do is, once you get your database up and running, you figure out who you're up to 150 is, you want to be constantly developing a plan. Like I have workshops that I do once a month. I have a database. I invite people there. I have a double your income in 90 days. I do that once every 3 months, and I invite people there. I have a social once every 6 to 8 weeks. I'm doing one on October 26th, going through my list of people, invite them there. I call people on their anniversary date, birth date, their favorite day of the year. What else do I do? Then I also, I give introductions, referrals to people constantly if they're in my network. I mean, that email goes out to 600 people. That's 12 touches email. I think if they're on my list inviting to events, they're probably getting touched at least inviting to activities probably 4 times a month. I'm probably calling them and inviting them to things. Started creating socials. So it's going really, really well. And I actually have my son helping me with that, because I realize if you're really going to develop referrals, you have to develop a plan and giving and receiving referrals. And one of the things I've learned is I literally have to remember to ask. So in my CRM program, I have a problem that says you got to ask. And really got to ask to sit down and ask people, have I earned the permission? Can we talk about how we can brainstorm how we can introduce me? And when I do that, most people are willing to, because my job or my role is to teach them, not force them. And then the other thing is you want to invest time and funds in learning strategy and bringing into business on word of mouth and referrals. In my notes, there's like several books, like Mike Mayer, 7 Levels of Communication is really good. Contagious is one. The Tipping Point with Malcolm, you're looking for connectors. There's another one called Anatomy of Buzz. I read a lot of books on word of mouth. There's one called Face-to-Face Marketing in the Digital World, because the whole idea is you really want to understand the whole process of working a sphere of influence. You measure it solely about how many referrals you receive, but also you measure it how many referrals you give. And then you also really have to look at how to have a process. Like I have a process on developing referral sources and developing clients. So I've been working on that even in this Catalyst program, Mike Mayer. Because at the end of the day, your sphere of influence for getting new business, it only works if it's giving you referrals, introductions. And you have to, again, number 1, identify the categories. Number 2, Know what type of referrals you're asking for. Referral, introduction, favorable. Number 3, know the process, the who, how, and what when you're asking for a referral. Number 4, bring value ongoing to the relationship by showing appreciation, gratitude, and especially generosity. And generosity, 6 profiles of giving. Number 4, have a CRM to track your activity, especially if you want to build a spirit. Number 5, set goals and objectives in giving referrals and track it. I mean, I ask people all the time, you know, do you have goals in giving referrals? And very few people do. So that basically means they're not really sure if they really want to do this or not. They're haphazard, and so it's really hard for them to come up to speed and give introduction referral because that's not what they're doing. They don't have any goals. And if you are a great giver, but you're not setting goals on receiving, then you won't get it anyway too. It works both ways. Number 6, give a plan. You got to have a plan written out, have a process of how to track it and what works and doesn't work. And that's what clients when I work with, that's what we work on, is really helping them develop that network and develop a plan to do that. And 7, you got to invest, take classes, read books. Like I have a course called Double Your Income in 90 Days, and a lot of it is based on how to get business from your sphere, how to network. I have a workshop, a half-a-day workshop on how to ask for referrals without being pushy, because a lot of people don't want to ask because they're afraid to be pushy. So I do a bunch of, because I think that, you know, and the reason I'm passionate about this, because when I first started 20 years ago, I was 100% introvert. You know, I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. I mean, I just wanted to do well and help people and win. But you can't win if you don't really know how to build relationships and get referrals and you don't have an advertising budget. I just learned over the years is how to be a great giver, how to ask, how to give. And I'm getting better at asking, but really figuring out my network who can give me the right target markets. Because if I give an example, if I get 10 referrals and introductions a month that's in my target market, I ain't got to sell. I mean, I just got to help other people out. But I mean, think of even if I got 110 referrals or 200 referrals a year, you know, I'm able to convert about 60% of that. I mean, and it's all referrals. And the thing I like about referrals is they're already ready to do business. So I'm hoping this working spirit of influence for your new business will be fine. I'm going to go ahead and give you my notes if you're interested. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Again, this is Arnell Tanyag with Tanyag Company. We're a business advising consulting firm. If you have any questions about this working your spirit of influence, you don't hesitate to call me. Reach out to me. My number is 757-752-8169. And have a great night. Thanks.